Amanda Anisimova did not come to play in Beijing today after dominating defending champion Coco Gauff 6-1, 6-2 in 58 minutes. I'll talk about what went right for her and what went wrong for Gauff, analyze the Wuhan draw, and discuss some interesting statements Alexander Zverev made about Alcaraz and Sinner. Ni hao, my name is Christian Bassnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you have not yet already, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are notified whenever I post more update videos like this. Starting with Gauff and Anisimova, the first game of the match showed signs of us getting a very competitive match as we would expect. But after Amanda held to clinch the first game, she did not look back. Anisimova won 20 of the first 25 games, and she unleashed an onslaught similar to what we saw from their 2017 US Open Girls Final, which Anisimova won love in 2. I did pick Coco to win this match in 3 sets, and I thought she was playing well this tournament leading up to this match, and that she would have more in the tank if this one went the distance, because Amanda, she just had that pretty intense quarterfinal against Paolini. But Amanda, of course, she was having none of that today. I don't really need to go too in-depth with this analysis of this match. It was really all Amanda. And as I said on TikTok and Instagram, this could have been a 6-love win for her. Honestly, Amanda, she had a set point at 5-love in the first set, and then she led 5-love, 30-love in the second set. It definitely was not a great day from Coco, especially from the ground. She hit 8 winners to 22 unforced errors, while Amanda finished with 15 winners to 16 unforced errors. Coco actually didn't serve that bad. She served 65% first serves in, 2 aces, 5 double faults, which isn't good, but it could be worse. Still, Coco won just 39% of her first serve points, and that's really the big outlying stat. You could say that Coco should have mixed up her serve a little bit more, but Amanda, her returning was just on another planet today. She was hitting return winners on some of Coco's quality first serves. And then Amanda, she had a great serving day herself. She didn't hit an ace, but she made 72% of her first serves in and won 85% of her first serve points. And she just hit her spot so well on her serve. And Coco, meanwhile, did not have a good returning day at all. That's been a weak area for Gauff lately in her losses. She might need to dedicate more time in practicing her return because she missed far too many returns, I feel, today against Anisimova. But again, I cannot stress enough how well Amanda played and how she was firing on both cylinders from both wings. And this match might be the best match that she has ever played on the women's tour. That said, I don't think that Coco had the best game plan out there approaching this match. Her strategy seemed to be trying to break down the Anisimova forehand, which she couldn't do as much because her own forehand isn't really that hard and flat for real. Plus, Amanda's backhand is as good, if not better, than Gauff's backhand at the moment. Gauff also didn't mix things up nearly enough at all. Not enough slices, drop shots, or high balls. And the one time I saw her hit a forehand slice, she got an Anisimova error. And the same thing with the drop shot. She's been hitting that shot a lot throughout the tournament, but she only hit it, I think, one time today. And the one time she did hit it, she won the point. I must say it is harder to drop shot a big hitter like Anisimova. And Coco said herself that she did not really have a chance at getting a good rhythm out there in this semifinal. But bottom line, I do think Gauff has shifted away from playing that winning uglier game style we saw a lot in 2023, where she kind of scraps and mixes things up. And in these recent one-sided losses, like against Yastremska, Mboko, Osaka, and now Anisimova, she tried to out-hit those players a bit too much from the ground. And I think that she would do a bit better with a healthier blend of variety and solid, strong ground strokes. But still, overall, I think a solid tournament from Coco. She played some good matches, but focusing all my attention right now on Anisimova, she is definitely here to stay. And for me, this tournament is her baddies chain tournament. And explaining what I mean by that, baddies, I can't believe I'm explaining baddies right now on my channel, but baddies is a show on Zeus Network that has done irreparable damage to the Black community. But basically, the head honcho, Natalie Nunn, gives one of the baddies a chain once they've earned their stripes a little bit. And it's interesting because a few years ago, even before baddies was really a thing, I had a tier list of the different groupings of the ranking of the woman, and the top tier were the boss baddies. So I think it all works together. But anyways, this tournament to me showed that Amanda, I think she will win her slam. She just keeps getting better and better and better. And what's impressed me too is that she's bounced back so well after these tough losses. Of course, after Wimbledon, losing in the finals, love and love to Swiatek, she bounced back and made the US Open final, getting revenge over Swiatek in the process. And now the very next tournament, after losing in that US Open final to Sabalenka, she made another 1,000 final. It's incredible. And then now Anisimova has gotten wins over Aryna, Iga, and Coco all this year at big tournaments. I think Amanda will be the favorite in this final when she takes on Linda Noskova after the 20-year-old Czech earned an epic 6-3, 1-6, 7-6 victory over Jessica Pegula. Linda played well and definitely deserved to win, but there's no reason Pegula should have lost this match, being honest. First, Pegula broke twice in her first two return games of the decider, but she also dropped her first two service games immediately after breaking. And then she had a love 40 look at 2-all when she lost that game, and then she had 4 break points total at 4-all, still lost that game. Then she had 3 match points when serving it out at 6-5, but fumbled. And then she led 3-1 in the tiebreak. And this is when she fumbled an easy put away overhead. And I think this miss lost her the match. But all credit again needs to be given to Noskova for playing just the better tennis when her back was against the wall. And I'm really happy for her because I always thought that she was deserving of having a big breakthrough moment. I was waiting for her to do something like this, especially after she upset Swiatek at the Australian Open in 2024, but now she's having her moment. And it's easy to forget that, again, she is still just 20 years old. She still is very young. Linda is set to make her top 20 debut on Monday. She sits at 17 in the live rankings, and she would rise to number 13 with the title in China. I am expecting this final to be really good. Amanda won their last meeting, which was at the Wimbledon 4th round this year. I'm going to be having Amanda win this one in 3 sets as well. I think not only will she have a little bit more left in the tank, I think, because Linda, that was a pretty draining match that she played against Pegula in the semifinals, and she won't have a day off to recover. Plus, Amanda has won a WTA 1000 title this year. This would be Noskova's first 1,000 final, so it's going to be the biggest match of her career. And then too, Amanda is just a excellent 3-set player. She is riding a 10-match win streak in 3 sets, so I think if this one does go the distance, I would favor her in this case. Now moving on and talking about the final 1,000 tournament of the year on the women's side, and that is Wuhan. Thankfully, it's just a 1-week-long event, and Aryna Sabalenka, the world number 1, is back in action for the first time since winning the US Open, and she will be looking for the 4-peat. Sabalenka does have a very tough section, I'm not going to lie. She could face Anna Kalinskaya in the second round, and then could play either Ludmila Samsonova or Sofia Kenin in the third round, although I can see a qualifier or like a loser there instead. The bottom part of this section is just is going to be a bloodbath. You have Elena Rybakina, who could have a very tough second round match against McCartney Kessler, and then you have really intriguing popcorn first round match between Naomi Osaka and Leylah Fernandez, which I am very excited for because Naomi and Leylah haven't played since that infamous 2021 US Open third round match. Just such an iconic match. You also have Linda Noskova here too, although I'm not expecting Noskova to do much here after, winning all those matches in Beijing. I think I might actually have a Sabalenka-Kessler quarterfinal with Sabalenka winning it. Then Amanda Anisimova section has a lot of opportunity because both Amanda and Jessica might be gassed heading into Wuhan after going deep in Beijing. I think this section provides a bit of opportunity for Emma Raducanu to make a little bit of a run. Same thing here with Victoria Mboko, who is still winless after winning her Montreal title. She has a tough opening round match, though, against Ekaterina Alexandrova. I mean, I'm kind of throwing these predictions at the wall here, but I'm going to be picking Raducanu here to make the semis. Then looking at the bottom half, you have Coco Gauff section, and we could have a Gauff-Andreeva quarterfinal on the line, although Karolina Muchova could play Mira Andreeva in the third round, although Karol does have a tough opening match against Marta Kostyuk. Also, you have some other big hitters here like Diana Yastremska, Veronika Kudermetova as well lurking there. Coco, though, I think she has a tricky draw. She could get Xingyu Wang in round 2, who beat her in Berlin. She also made the semifinals here in Wuhan last year. Emma Navarro, she will be the biggest threat to Gauff, I think, in this section overall. Emma beat her twice at majors in 2024, and Ostapenko was there too, but I do think Kirstea would beat the Latvian. Again, I'm not putting much thought into these predictions. I'm going with Gauff here to make the semifinals. And then last but not least, you have Iga Swiatek section, who overall I think has a decent draw. Belinda Bencic, she played well in Beijing, so she might cause her problems there in the round of 16. But also you have Clara Towson and, of course, Jasmine Paolini up top. But there are chances that none of these three players will even make it to face Iga in those respective rounds. You know, I was maybe leaning towards Paolini perhaps doing her big one finally and getting that win over Iga, considering how Swiatek played really poor in that round of 16 loss in Beijing to Navarro. But I am expecting Iga to pick up her level here in Wuhan, so I'm going to be having her make the semifinals. I don't even feel like giving my predictions overall for Wuhan, but I'm going to be having a Sabalenka final. It doesn't even feel right. I don't feel confident at all in that pick, but yeah, I'm going to be having a Sabalenka final. I'm going to be going with Iga here because I think that Sabalenka might need another tournament before she hits her full stride. So Swiatek for the Wuhan title. Now, looking at the action thus far in the penultimate 1000 in Shanghai, Jannik Sinner, he started his title defense with a revenge win over Daniel Altmaier. Altmaier, he won their last meeting prior to this one, although it was in 2023 at Roland Garros. But today, Jannik got the 6-3, 6-3 win, which was actually pretty tough. It was a tougher match than what the scoreline entailed. The Italian now faces off against Talon Griekspoor. Alexander Bublik did fall in the second round, so I think Jannik will be a little bit happy about that. Now, Taylor Fritz's section is all intact, and Fritz will play now against Giovanni and Petri Pedicard, while Holger Rune takes on Ugo Humbert. Now, Novak Djokovic is the only seed remaining in his section after Andre Rublev, Flavio Cobolli, and Francis Tiafoe all were bounced in their opening round matches. Both Gabriel Diallo and Francisco Cerundolo have a good opportunity to make the quarterfinals after Ben Shelton and Casper Ruud both fell in the opening round too. Felix Auger-Aliassime seems to be continuing his strong form from the U.S. Open. He got his 6-3, 6-3 victory over Alejandro Tabilo, and then he now plays Jesper de Jong, who got his first top 20 victory after defeating Jakub Menjic. Then down there below, you have an all-Italian affair between Lorenzo Musetti and Luciano Darderi. Alexander Zverev will be seeking revenge in his third round match against Artur Rinderknecht, who defeated him at Wimbledon in the opening round this year. And then down there below, you have Shapovalov Lehechka. Dino Medvedev seems to be back in good health and in good form. He only dropped 2 games in his opening round match. He now plays against Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. And then special shout out to Leonard Tien. He's continuing his excellent Asian swing. He made the Hangzhou quarterfinals, the Beijing finals, and now is into the third round at Shanghai after scoring a 4-6, 6-4, 6-4 comeback victory over Corentin Moutet. Mind you, Tien was down 4-6, love 3 in this match, but he found a way to get the win. I just feel like Leonard just doesn't get enough credit for his season thus far. Also, I do want to give a shout out to Jerry Shang. He reached his first 1,000 third round, and he did it at home in Shanghai after upsetting 9th seed Karen Khachanov 7-6, 6-3. Up next for Shang is Nuno Borges of Portugal, and then I think this could be a good opportunity for Shang to maybe go on a little bit of a run here. As Alex de Minaur, I think that could be a winnable match for him if he were to face the Aussie in the 4th round. But again, congratulations to Jerry. Great to see him playing great tennis again and him being healthy and injury-free. So hopefully he can keep it going and go on a serious run in this tournament. Now, closing out this video, I want to discuss Roger Federer's court speed conspiracy once again because it's been brought up recently after the Shanghai Court Index indicated that the courts are being played slower this year. For context, Roger recently said he thinks the tournaments are intentionally slowing down their courts in favor of Jannik and Carlos, and that the courts are all starting to play similarly. Alexander Zverev echoed these same sentiments following his opening round win in China.
Do you prefer when there's a variety from tournament to tournament?
No, I hate when it's the same, to be honest, and I know that the tournament directors are going towards that direction because obviously they want Jannik and Carlos to do well every tournament, and that's what they prefer. We always had different surfaces. We always had tournaments which you liked, we always had tournaments which you didn't like so much. You know, you couldn't play the same tennis the same way on the grass court, hard court, and the clay court. Nowadays, you can play almost the same way on every surface. So I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I think tennis needs game styles. Tennis needs a little bit of variety, and I think we're lacking that.
I have some thoughts about this. I do think there is a conversation that needs to be had about court speeds maybe needing a little bit more variety, but I am not buying this whole conspiracy that the tournaments are scheming to slow down the courts in favor of having Sinner and Alcaraz finals. I wish Zverev was asked why he thought that, and I personally think that Roger's explanation for it was a bit lazy. He said the lower-ranked players have a better shot at beating Carlos and Jannik on faster surfaces because it would take fewer shots to win points against them. Now, Jannik has twice defended the Australian Open, which is played on a very quick surface. Same thing with the Nitto ATP Finals. He won that last year. Meanwhile, Jannik has also done well on slower surfaces like Roland Garros, Rome. So I don't know. Carlos, I think he definitely has struggled a little bit more on the faster indoor surfaces especially, but you could argue that he's adjusted very well to that this year. So I don't know if that's a factor anymore either. I think regardless, even if they play on Mars, Carlos and Jannik would be better, heads and shoulders better than the rest of the field. And this just gives off to me that Zverev is trying to make more excuses as to why he is slamless. And it's not like he's been losing to Sinner and Alcaraz in most of these tournaments, these big tournaments. He often loses before he would even have to face them in the finals or in the semifinals. And it just gives off that he's discrediting their dominance. I don't like that at all from him. And instead of working harder and trying to find ways to beat Jannik and Carlos, he's using Roger's statements as a crutch. And I think he's really only saying this because Roger did and is piggybacking off. And I'm wondering if he or other players always had this in mind, or if now that Roger brought it up, they're like, oh yeah, that's why we're not winning as much. That's why these guys are dominating. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But that's all I have for this Christians Court update. Let me know your thoughts on the action in Beijing and who you think will win the finals between Anisimova and Noskova, as well as your thoughts on the Shanghai action and Zverev's comments about Alcaraz and Sinner in the courts. Again, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post more update videos like this. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see you all next time here on Christians Court.